this is relative to ABO tag. Now, we'll also have to concern ourselves with RH as well, and we'll have to look at that as well. But this is a little bit more professional than my previous presentation. Table form, but I think it explains it rather well. Yes?
Does it matter, like, for the O, does it matter if it's negative or positive? Can,
The
like,
negative and positive do matter. They do.
like, can O positive be negative?
O positive could give to any positive person,
Oh,
but only the positive. And we'll explore that as we get into RH diet. You never. The rule will be you never give a negative person positive blood of any kind. You concern yourselves with the ABO transfusion, of course, but then the RH has to be considered too. So don't give positive to negative, and we'll see what happens when you do that too. You got problems. I've already said this before, of course, that when you give the recipient the wrong blood, the antibodies in the plasma of the recipient will attack the antigens on the donor's red blood cells. Now let's spell out what the reaction is called, technically first. Okay, what the reaction is called, and I'll have to start way over here to get this word in here. I have to write it on the, there we go, it showed up again. Agglutination. And I like even better, a simpler term for it, called clumping. Of course, you've got to know both words. You clump those cells together. For Thursday's folks, they saw it happening, so they can visualize it a little better in their minds. You can see photographs of it in your book and so on, but clumping occurs. The technical term for it is agglutination. Where you want that to happen is when you're typing blood. You don't want it to happen in somebody's blood stream or blood cardiovascular system, because it can be possibly fatal to them. Remember, several years ago, and I can't remember how long because time flies, you know, as they say, but up at, I believe it was Duke University Hospital, they transplanted the liver, had the wrong blood type into a girl. As much as they tried to save her, they couldn't. There was a continual agglutination from the blood into that liver. So, if you just outright transfuse somebody, if I'm type A and you transfuse me with B, I'm in trouble. If I'm B and you transfuse me with A, I'm in trouble. If I'm AB and you transfuse me with other blood, then I might not be in trouble, because I don't have the antibodies, you see. But if I'm O type now, you transfuse me with A, B, or AB, I'm in trouble, right? What can you do with that O blood? Because it has no antigens, you can donate it to any of the other types. But now, you've got to also be concerned with RH. You can't just be concerned with ABO. Even though the ABO processor reaction is going to be much more serious, quick to react and so on, you still got to be concerned about RH. And what did I say you never do? You never donate RH blank to RH blank.
Negative to positive.
Do not donate positive to a negative person. We'll explore that and see what the problem there is. That's what you don't want to do. Are you with me so far? This is, you have to think about this stuff. I'm going to have you fill out that table with ABO and RH, and we'll talk about it. I'll kind of give you some practice on it. You also have a question in your review questions in lab, which I didn't ask for this week. Be covered in there. We'll be looking at that. Change this a little bit, the title of this, because I first want to talk about RH type before I talk about the problem with mom and baby. That's where this is. With transfusions, you've got to be concerned with RH type, particularly with mom and baby interactions. What would RH blood type be determined by? Inheritance, for one thing. Starts with inheritance. Mom or dad have to give you the gene that produces the RH antigens. And I'm going to say antigens because there are several of them. It's not just one. To be truthful, I could say antigen, but to be truthful, I would say antigens. And I think you know the answer to this. If the RH antigens are present on your red blood cells, you are a Democrat. No. Your type is described as being RH positive. No antigens are present. Republican, no. You're RH negative. By the way, does anybody know where the letters RH came from? Rhesus monkey. Right, that's where the I think the gentleman's name was Wiener found the RH antigen in rhesus macaque monkeys from the old Rome. And that's where they get that RH designation. We find we have two of the RH types as well. You have the biggest problem here if you're RH negative. You've got to be concerned if you're transfused blood, or you've got to be concerned if you have a baby who's RH positive too, if you're negative. Because if any positive blood gets into your system, it will cause some changes in the antibody situation. Yes, Rachel?
Okay, the first thing, did you mean by presence of absence, or do you mean presence or absence?
Or, not of. You're right. I'm sorry about that. It's a typo. You see what she's talking about right here. This should be or. O-R-E. Presence or absence of RH antigen. Sorry about that. I gotta stay sober while I do these things. Ready to clear. Remember, it's the RH negative person who can have a problem here, so I think you know what I'm going to write in here. If an RH negative recipient receives blood, gets blood from an RH positive donor, it's a little different than the ABO. There you already have the opposite antibodies that a person will produce sometime in their life. But here you will not produce the anti-RH antibodies unless your blood receives RH positive cells. So if RH positive cells by transfusion or from a baby that you're carrying get into your blood, your immune system will see that as foreign, and then will produce anti-RH antibodies. Your titer level of those will start going up, and you will produce them. And what's the other name for antibodies? Do you think into those terms? Agglutinins, yeah, anti-RH agglutinins. When this happens, and it doesn't just happen for blood types, it happens for exposure to many things where you produce antibodies. Like allergens and infectious organisms and toxins and stuff like that. If you produce antibodies, you are said to be senseless. No, I'm sorry. Wow. It's getting interesting. Can you read that?
Sensitized.
Sensitized, that's what they call it. You now have antibodies you did not have before. If I'm a negative person and I never am going to get exposed to by transfusion or baby, never get any positive blood into my body, I'm not going to have the antibodies. Only if I'm exposed to it, then I'll start building up the level of anti-RH antibodies. So I get a transfusion, I'm negative. I get a transfusion, my blood becomes sensitized. Is that going to cause problems? Probably not. No, not then. What is not likely, but what it could happen if I'm transfused again with positive blood, now I've got antibodies that can pump the blood. So that's not likely. A more common problem is a problem between mom and baby, as we'll see. And that is serious for the child, or at least a child. We'll see which one, too. So you understand now, that transfusions, the only thing that doesn't work with RH is positive being donated to negative, which means, of course, obviously you can donate positive to positive, you can donate negative to negative, and what else can you do? Negative to positive. Yeah, because the negative person would not have any antigens that would sensitize the recipient. But if the positive blood goes into that negative person, you're going to produce antibodies and have them sensitized, and that's not good. Everybody clear on this? Please say so if you're not, folks. This stuff gets a little bit hairy as we're going through it. Of course, we write the ABO and RH together. For example, person may be A, superscript positive, you put it as a superscript generally, you're supposed to anyway. A negative, B positive, that's a comma by the way, B negative, etc. Keep it going there, you see how they write it, they write it together.
So O negative can donate to everybody, positive, negative, A.
Yeah. Yeah, O negative can give to anyone. It's quite some valuable blood to have. The reason you can give it to anyone, you not only are you to know these things, you must understand why you can donate certain bloods or receive certain bloods, okay? O negative can donate to anyone because, for one, there are no ABO antigens for the recipient's antibodies to bind to. Secondly, there are no RH antigens to sensitize the recipient. So the true universal donor is O negative. Now think about it. Which blood could get or receive from anybody?
AB.
AB
Positive.
has no antibodies.
Oh,
no,
positive.
no ABO antibodies. No anti-A nor anti-B antibodies. So it can receive any ABO type, can't it? If it's positive, it can receive positive or negative blood. So AB positive is called what?
Universal
True
receptor.
universal. When I say true, because you're taking into consideration both ABO and RH. It's the true universal, what are we going to say?
Recipient.
Recipient, right. AB positive. AB positive is the recipient, a negative is the universal donor. When transfusing, you must consider the types. And how are blood types determined and the safety of a transfusion determined? One is by blood typing. quite often they do what is called cross-matching. And in cross-matching, you would introduce the RBCs of the donor into the recipient's plasma. You know, you have to do it under specific control conditions, but then you would see if there's a reaction. That's called cross-matching. Blood, that doesn't look like typing, but that's what that's supposed to be. Whatever. So you type or cross-match the blood to determine the safety of the transfusion. You don't want to make any mistakes there. Mistakes are still made, though, in hospitals, as you well know, but rarely. Move on. I'm not going to do this table for you. I want you to do it, and then I'll put it online, the answers to it. Okay? You want to include your ABO type, your RH type, and fill her in. So you'd say A positive can be donated to different blood types. What are they? You receive from different ones. What are they? You fill this all out. We just answered this question. You'll see that clearly as you're going through the different transfusions too. What's a true universal donor? What's a true universal recipient? And it's very important, as I said, that you understand this, not just memorize it. Understand what's going on. If you do not, ask me or whomever might be there to help you, but I'll be glad. Now we want to talk about a specific problem. We call it, thank God they got this name today because he used to have a name that was so long and hard to remember, hemolytic disease of newborn. Well, we all know what a newborn is. What's hemolytic mean? Well, you could say that it means blood destroying. Lysis means to destroy or split. It destroys the blood cell, clumps them, and destroys them. And it does so within the fetus's bloodstream that is being zapped by this problem. But to lay down a foundation for understanding this incompatibility between mom and baby, you must say it's caused by reaction between an RH negative mother and an RH positive child. Now let's suppose a mother is negative. To be negative, she had to receive a negative gene from both her parents, and then she is RH negative. She has a child, she marries a positive man. This would only happen if she married a positive man, of course. Hopefully a good man, but anyway. Marries a positive man. That means that there's a probability that 50% of her children would be positive too. And let's suppose now that first child that she's carrying is RH positive. Then, in her uterus, in her womb, she's got an RH positive child. Its blood is circulating through its cardiovascular system, through its blood vessels. Those blood vessels carry blood out